Middle hamstring's done. Adductor and medial hamstring has been lengthened out. Now it's time to go ahead and attack lateral hamstring and lateral hip rotation. We want to start stretching those out. So let's go on back into our stretch position. This is going to be important, and I'll reiterate, you must be able to have a band that you feel confident with, that you're not fighting against because the tension is too high. So start with a lower level resistance band as you start to go through these movements. We're going to go ahead and hook the band onto our foot. Once again, wrap it around if you want to keep it secure. If you don't and you have it just looped over top, make sure it's on the arch of your foot, and make sure you're always keeping some level of tension on the band to keep it secure on your foot. If you're not, I want you to wrap it around and hook it like that. Now, we just finished up going ahead and stretching out the groin and the adductor over here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to unlock it, and we're going to go ahead and bend the left foot up, and we're going to switch hands. So we're going to go from having the band loop through this hand to now having it loop through this hand. I'm going to go ahead and unloop this for a second because I want to go ahead and take a little less tension on the band when I start. So I'm going to hook it through here and once again loop it through my hand. So it's between my index finger and my thumb. I'm going to bend the opposite foot up so that I can take the tension off my hips while I learn how to position the band. Now, if you need to put it here to begin with, that's fine. What you're going to do then is start by just stretching out and pulling down on the band to stretch out that hip rotation. Notice I'm trying to pull my right foot towards my left shoulder as I stretch out that hip. For most of you, it's going to be much tighter. You're going to be pulling probably more down in this position, but you always want to be working that right foot towards your left shoulder. Also note, left side is flat down on the ground, foot is straight and up against the wall so that we're not rotating out. This is the first place where you're going to start rotating out and putting the pressure on your low back by rotating in this position. We don't want that. Keep yourself locked in and work it just using the band as a pulling strap to start stretching out that hip rotation. From there, you can go ahead and also combine up straightening the knee and stretching out that lateral hamstring. This is going to be a much tighter position for your hamstring than both the medial and the groin medial stretch that we did previously. So now as you press across, expect some burning into your back of your knee, expect a little bit more pulling into your calf because you're going to be creating some nerve tension symptoms as you go through this. As always though, as soon as you back off the pressure, all of that goes away. You're going to start mobilizing that. What you're trying to do is mobilize that hamstring. The hand can stay here. This hand grabs the band and you're ultimately just trying to straighten your knee as you press across. Incorporate some periodical hip rotation stretching while you're doing that. So you really can combine up a lateral hamstring stretch with a hip rotation stretch. And you want to get that foot across your body while this left leg is staying straight on. If you're strong enough and your band isn't too much tension, I like it if you can lock out because that's going to keep this right shoulder flat on the ground as I press across. Yes, the band is resting on the back of my head, but my head is resting on the band as a support. I like that because it takes a lot of pressure off the front of my chin, the lower front neck muscles, so that they're not being exposed and worked too hard. So I prefer that, but it will take some time for you to get used to letting that head just rest against the band. So here's the lateral hamstring hip rotation stretch. I'm going to mobilize there. I'm going to bring in some hip rotation. Notice my knee is getting closer and closer to my chin. I want it up in this area. I don't want to go ahead and have this way out here pulling down. Also, the big mistake, most people try to pull their foot towards their left hip. You're not going to feel any stretch there. It has to be towards your left shoulder. So it has to be pulling up here and you have to be pressing across here. Keep in mind too, anytime you're straightening and bending your knee, you're pressing with your heel. You're trying to press with your heel, not go ahead and point your toe. Press with that heel to get a great lengthening of the entire structure involving the calf and hamstring. Couple of progressions. When you start getting really flexible, I will often reach up and just grab my foot and stretch down so I can enhance the stretch that way. I will even sometimes grab the ball of my foot and stretch out and press up. That reminds me to keep my foot down and press with my heel. So those are some advanced levels. Just start here, get used to this, get used to pressing across, and make sure that the band that you're using is a tension that you feel you can control. Typically that's going to be either a red small band or a yellow super micro band, and you're going to start out that way. Sound good? Get after that lateral hamstring and hip rotation. Keep that opposite leg nice and tight against the wall as you go ahead and stretch out.